Good morning, 7STE. Today, we're going to discuss Quarter 3, Module 2, Land and Soil Pollutants. Objectives: identify and describe the land and soil pollutants in the study of the environment in relation to environmental science. At the end of this module, you are expected to 1. Describe land and soil pollutants in the environment. 2. Cite the harmful causes and effects of land and soil pollutants to human health and in the environment. And 3. Suggest ways in reducing the accumulation of land pollutants in the environment. What I know. Choose a letter of the best answer. Write the letter of your choice on your answer sheet. See pages 1 to 3 of Quarter 3, Module 2. What's in? Look closely at the picture below and be able to answer the question that follows. So let's take a look at water pollution. Toxic substances released by the factories contaminated the water, resulting to water pollution. It is one of the sources of water pollutants affecting the environment. Guide questions. Number 1. What are examples of water pollutants? 2. What are the causes and effects of water pollutants in the environment? 3. If you were given a chance to meet the mayor of your town, what solutions would you suggest to lessen the effects of water pollution to human health and in the environment? What's new? Read and analyze the comic strips. Answer the questions that follows. One Sunday morning, Paula and his daddy are planning to plant trees. Paula, we cannot plant the trees we brought in Area B. It seems soil is polluted, isn't it? Yes, Daddy, you are correct. It seems soil is polluted, but how does it occur? As you can see, improper waste disposal frequently happens due to the lack of awareness about the effects of pollutants that might harm us in the future. Daddy, I am curious, what are pollutants? I already know air and water pollutants discussed in Module 1 by my teacher. Now, I want to know about land or soil pollutants. What is land or soil pollutants? Paula, pollutants are harmful substances introduced into the environment that have adverse effects to our resources like air, water, and land. It is related to the discussion of your teacher in Module 1 on air and water pollutants. The only difference is that land pollutant contaminates land or soil. Pollutants can be natural or created by human activities. Thank you, Daddy. Now I know what soil pollutant is. From now on, I will protect, conserve, and save our environment like this area. Guide questions. Number 1. What is land or soil pollutant? 2. How does land and soil pollution occur in the environment? 3. What do you think are the adverse effects of land and soil pollutants to the environment and human health? What is it? Land pollution, land and soil pollutants. Pollution is the introduction of harmful materials into the environment. These toxic materials are called pollutants. Pollutants can be natural and produced by human activity, such as waste produced by factories. Pollutants damage the quality of air, water, and land. The degradation of land that lessens its quality is called land pollution, such as in this picture. The essential nutrients needed for plants and vegetative growth decrease due to the low quality of soil and land. Humus, the top layer, is removed when the soil erodes. The result of erosion over a long period includes the decrease of decaying vegetation and microbial effects. This human impact disaster leaves large parcels of land destroyed and unfit for regrowth for many years, and thus thousands of acres of land are spoiled each year. Human influences such as poor agricultural practices, the digging up of essential resources, industrial waste dumping, and careless disposal of trash continue to pollute the land rapidly. The intervention of humans plays a part in the Earth's future. Soil contamination or soil pollution as part of land degradation is due to the presence of cyanobiotics or human-made chemicals or other alterations in the natural soil environment. It is usually because of industrial activity, agricultural chemicals, or improper disposal of waste. The substances or chemicals that contaminates the soil are petroleum, hydrocarbons, polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbons, solvents, pesticides, lead, and other heavy metals. Contamination is associated with the degree of industrialization and intensity of chemical substances. The concern over soil contamination stems primarily from health risks. From direct contact with the contaminated soil, vapors from the contaminants, or secondary contamination of water supplies within the underlying soil. Sources of land and soil pollutants. Number 1, geogenic sources. These are sources of soil pollutants derived from geological bases or natural sources. So if it's a natural source, then it's geogenic. They stem from interactions between aquifer rocks and groundwater that lead to the release of substances from the aquifer rock or sediment into the water. The interactions or connections of these sources are always taking place. Rocks and sediments largely control water interaction. But if a particular substance occurs in the soil in quantities that are high enough to have a detrimental effect on life forms, then it is termed a geogenic source of pollutants. For example, heavy metals in soils can vary over 2 to 3 orders of magnitude, considering the natural variation in the concentration of trace minerals within the type of rocks. So take a look at this picture. Number 2, anthropogenic sources. These are sources of soil pollutants produced as byproducts of industrial activities, domestic and municipal waste, including wastewater, agrochemicals, and petrol-derived products. These substances or chemicals are released into the environment accidentally. For example, oil spills or leaching from landfills or intentionally, as is the case with the application of fertilizers, herbicides or weed killers, and pesticide poisons which kill insects and other invertebrate pests, irrigation with untreated wastewater or land application of sewage sludge. The range of chemicals used in industrial activities is vast, and their impact on the environment. Heavy metals from anthropogenic activities are also frequent in industrial sites and can arise from dust and spillages of raw materials, wastes, final products, fuel ashes, and fires. So here are some examples of major anthropogenic sources. So for agriculture, we have fertilizer, manure, irrigation, and sewage sludge. For industry, we have wastewater, waste disposal, manufacturing, and power plants. For mining, we have ore extraction, smelting, and tailings. So all of these are anthropogenic sources of land or soil pollution. Types of anthropogenic sources of pollutants. Point source involves the discharge of toxic substances or chemicals from specific areas, such as factories, sewage systems, power plants, underground coal mines, and oil wells. So, non-point source, this is poorly defined and scattered over bound areas. Pollution occurs as rainfall and snow melt move over and through the ground, picking up pollutants as they go, from agriculture, runoff, stormwater drainage, and atmospheric deposition. So yung point source, anthropogenic source of pollutant, specific yung pinanggagalingan ng ating land and soil pollutant. So, maituturo mo agad kung saan galing. So, pwedeng factory, sewage system, power plants, coal mines, oil wells. Pag naman non-point source, poorly defined. Hindi mo agad maituturo na dun mismo nang galing. So, it's scattered over bound areas. So, mga example nito ay yung rainfall and snowmelt as they move over and through the ground. So, nagpipick up sila ng pollutants as they go. Okay? Tapos yung mga pollutants na to, pwedeng galing kung saang sources. So, here are examples of point source and non-point source pollution. Next, major soil pollutants and their effects on human health. So, the first one is a metal called arsenic. The symbol for arsenic is Ar. It occurs naturally, so it is geogenic. Effects: chronic poisoning leads to a loss of appetite and weight, diarrhea, alternating with constipation, gastrointestinal disturbances, peripheral neuritis, conjunctivitis, and sometimes skin cancer. So if our soil is contaminated with arsenic, these are some of the effects that will happen to that infected person. Next, cadmium, symbol CD, source, mining, metallurgy, chemical industry, electroplating. So this is anthropogenic. So effects, it leads to chronic poisoning and affects the proximal tubules of the kidney, causing formation of kidney stones. Another effect of cadmium is the uh, itay disease. So this disease is documented in case of mass cadmium poisoning in Toyama Prefecture, Japan, starting around 1912. Cadmium was released into rivers by mining companies. The cadmium poisoning caused the softening of the bones and kidney failure. So, one of the infected person is shown in this picture. The mining companies were successfully sued for the damage. Next is lead, symbol Pb. So source, lead smelters, storage, battery, it is anthropogenic. So poisoning of lead can lead to severe mental retardation or death. So exposure to lead can seriously harm a child's health. It can damage to the brain and nervous system, learning and behavior problems, slowed growth and development, hearing and speech problems. And if your child, if a child is exposed to lead, this can cause lower IQ, decreased ability to pay attention, and underperformance in school. So this may be the reason why some students are low performing in school. It's because of exposure to lead. So, lead poisoning and the developing brain. So, lead exposure, about 310,000 US children ages 1 to 5 have elevated blood lead levels, which can accumulate over months and years and cause serious health problems. So, effects on children: kids absorb up to 70% of lead, adults up to about 20%. Often undetected, no obvious symptoms. It can lead to learning disabilities, behavioral problems, malformed bones, slow growth. Very high levels can cause seizures, coma, and death. So ang sources ng lead: lead-based paint, contaminated dust in homes built before 1978. So yung mga pintura na ginamit noong mga construction ng bahay before 1978, they contain lead. So, drinking water from lead pipes are also sources of lead. Contaminated food, soil. So, lead does not biodegrade or decay. So, hindi na nabubulok ang lead. And then, some toys, they also have lead. Okay? So, what parents can do: have child screened if there is a concern of lead exposure. Frequently wash child's hands, toys, pacifiers. Only use cold tap water for drinking, cooking, and test paint dust in home if it was built before 1978. Another major soil pollutant is mercury, symbol Hg. Source, industrial waste. It's anthropogenic. So methyl mercury compounds are much more toxic than other forms of mercury. They cause neurological problems and damages renal, glomeruli, and tubules. Okay. Cyanides, symbol Cn, waste from treatment of metals, dismantling of electroplating shops, etc. So it's also anthropogenic. So effects, rapid death may follow due to exposure of cyanide, a result of inhibition of cellular respiration. So soil degradation is a complex problem that requires government, institutions, communities, and individuals to take a joint measure. The following are just some of the things that we can do to improve human health and the environment. Number one, eat sustainable food properly, recycle batteries, produce homemade compost, and dispose of drugs in places authorized for this purpose. 2. Promote an eco-friendly model for industry, farming, and stock breeding, among other economic activities. 3. Improve urban planning, transport planning, and wastewater treatment. 4. Improve the management of waste, restore landscapes, and conserve topsoil. 5. Use 5 Rs to improve solid waste management. 6. Involve local communities and indigenous peoples in the design, implementation, and assessment of sustainable and soil management. So what's more, independent activity 1, you complete me. Fill in the missing letters to complete the term being described in each number. Number 1, it is the degradation of Earth's land through human misuse affecting the soil. 2, it is the source of soil pollutants which occur naturally in the environment. 3, it is an example of geogenic soil pollutant. 4. Soil pollutants from industrial activities and waste are known as. And 5. It is known as soil pollutants from industrial activities and waste. Independent Assessment 1, Health is Wealth. Complete the table, suggest simple ways on how to reduce the accumulation of pollutants in your school and in your home. So, healthy ways to reduce pollutants. Number 1, waste segregation. 2, reduce soil pollutants. 3, improve management of waste and promote eco-friendly models from recycled materials. So, you are going to suggest ways on how to reduce pollutants in school and at home. Next, independent activity 2, it's puzzle time. Solve the puzzle using the given letter and statement per number. So, number 1, these are naturally and produced as byproducts of industrial activities which are harmful material in the environment. 2, it is the source of soil pollutants which occur naturally in the environment. 3, if a person is exposed and poisoned of this pollutant, it can lead to severe mental retardation or death. 4. It refers to the degradation of the Earth's land through human misuse of the soil, which causes soil erosion wherein the topsoil of the land is stripped of essential nutrients needed for plants and vegetative growth. 5. It is a soil pollutant and a byproduct of industrial waste that causes neurological problems and damages renal glomeruli and tubules. 6. It is the source of soil pollutant produced by as byproducts of industrial activities, domestic and municipal waste including wastewater, agrochemicals, and petrol-derived products. 7. It is a soil pollutant that affects the proximal tubules of the kidney. 8. Classification of anthropogenic source of pollutant discharged from specific area. And 9. It is one of the soil pollutants with a chemical symbol of AR. So next, independent assessment 2, it's ICESA. Complete the ICESA table with the necessary information. Write 3 issues on land and soil pollution and give the cause, effect, solution, and your action on the issues. Independent Activity 3, News Analysis. Read and analyze the case study on the contaminated mining waste in the Philippines. Then, answer the guide questions below. DNR shuts down LGU-run open dump site in Pampanga for violation of RA 9003. In line with the order of Department of Environment and Natural Resources, Secretary Roy A. Cemato to close all open dump sites nationwide by the end of March this year, DENR Undersecretary for Solid Waste Management and Local Government Units Concerns Benny D. Antiporda on Friday, February 5, terminated the operation of an estimated 4-hectare open dump site being managed by the municipal government of Santa Ana in Pampanga Province. Antiporda personally went to Barangay San Nicolas, Santa Ana, Pampanga to see the blatant violation wherein he cited cases where the operation of open dump sites is disguised as recycling facility. We are again in this situation that they use the term Materials Recovery Facility or MRF, but in reality, it is an open dump site which the law prohibits, he said. The Undersecretary was further exasperated when he found out that Santa Ana Municipal Environment and Natural Resources Officer Brian James Garcia, a former employee of DNR Region 3, prepared the report used as basis for the notice of violation issued to the municipal government of Santa Ana in 2018. The NOV was relative to the operation of the dam site, but the LGU did not act on the notice. Nagagalit ako kasi nalaman ko na ikaw pa pala ang gumawa ng report tungkol dito nung ikaw ay nasa DNR pa. Ano ang ginawa mo upang maiwasto ang mga violations na inisyo noon ngayong ikaw na ang menro dito? Antiporda lamented. Garcia was then the monitoring officer of DNR Solid Waste Enforcement and Education Program under the Environmental Monitoring Office. The DNR Environmental Management Bureau in Region 3, together with the Philippine National Police, Maritime Group, and Santa Ana Municipal Police Station, served the cease and desist order against the open dump site located at Barangay San Nicolas, Santa Ana, Pampanga, for violating Section 37 of Republic Act 9003 or the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000. Likewise, it is also directed Santa Ana Menro to provide a safe closure and rehabilitation plan within 7 days. Based on the recent investigation of EMB Region 3, the open dump site is adjacent to the MRF owned and operated by the municipality. However, further investigation showed that the MRF is also being operated as an open dump site. They are not really using the MRF. They just need the name but still make and use this as an open dump site, Antiporda stressed. He further stressed that the open dump site is located in a farmland which causes degradation of environment and poses health hazards to the residents living within the area as the leachate from the dump waste goes to the ground and contaminates the groundwater. You can see, napakaganda po ng ating kabukiran. Then, lalagyan mo ng basurahan sa gitna. Malalason po ang tubig sa ilalim ng lupang ito kung kaya't kailangang mas safe closure and rehab ito, Antiporda emphasized. So, guide questions for analysis number 1. What are the environmental issues in the news above in relation to land and soil pollution? 2. What is violated by the LGU-run open dump site in Santa Ana, Pampanga? And number 3, what is RA 9003? Next, Independent Assessment 3, Quote of the Day. Use the Pigpen cipher codes below to complete the quotation on land and soil pollution. Write the letter inside the boxes. What I have learned. Using the given graphic organizer below, fill in the missing definition, description, examples, and ways to reduce land and soil pollution. So, land pollution is defined as, which can be described in terms of the two sources and the different ways to reduce pollution. So, the two sources can be identified based on its origin as example, which can be identified based on its types and the examples of pollutants. Okay, so you need to complete this graphic organizer. Next, what I can do, post slogan or poster slogan. World Soil Day, was held last December 5, 2020 as means to focus attention to the importance of healthy soil and to promote the sustainable management of soil resources for a food-secure future. In support to said event with the theme Keep Soil Alive, Protect Soil Biodiversity, create a post slogan or a poster slogan to raise awareness of the importance of maintaining healthy soil ecosystems and write at least a 50-word essay on the post slogan you will create. So, gagawa kayo ng poster/slogan and then you're going to write a 50-word essay tungkol doon sa ginawa niyong poster/slogan. So this will be the rubrics for your post slogan. So category, elements, labels and graphic clarity, graphic and text relevance, attractiveness, and then grammar. So kapag okay lahat, perfect score is 20/20. Next assessment, choose the letter of the best answer. Write your answer in a separate sheet of paper. See pages 13 to 14 of Quarter 3, Module 2. So next, for your additional activity, this will be performance task number 3.2, Combat Day, Land has True Value. In this activity, you are going to show your role as one of the environmental science students on land conservation and restoration and climate mitigation. Use the format below in doing the activity in a short bond paper. So the objective, to design and implement effective land conservation and restoration initiatives in the environment. So task, make a meaningful environmental project on land conservation and restoration for the following reasons. 1. To lessen the effects of pollutants to the environment and human health, and to support climate change mitigation and adaptation. So FYI, when you conserve and restore land, it becomes a powerful carbon sink to lessen the effects of climate change. So this will be your format for the additional activity. So title of activity, next your objectives, name of family members, your father, mother, brother, or sister, and then you're going to write your pledge of commitment. First, ikaw, your pledge of commitment, followed by your father's pledge of commitment, mothers, your brothers, and your sisters. So, you also put here picture 1 on land conservation and restoration before, picture 2, land conservation and restoration during, and then picture 3, land conservation and restoration after. So, pili ka ng isang area sa bakuran ninyo na medyo polluted yung lupa. Tapos, gagawin nyo, i-restore nyo yung area na yon. So, papakita nyo yung picture before, tapos papakita nyo yung picture nyo during, paano nyo ni-restore yung lupa, ano yung mga ginawa nyo mga paraan, para manumbalik yung health ng lupa na ito. And then, picture 3, ano na yung nangyari doon sa pagre-restore nyo sa lupa after several days. Okay? So, be creative in doing your performance tasks. You may use Canva or other graphic design applications for this. So for your NBSI Quarter 3 Module 2, Land and Soil Pollutants, the following should be on your answer sheet. So what I know, pages 1 to 3. What's more, answer independent activities 1, 2, 3, and independent assessments 1, 2, 3. Kailangan din meron kayong what I have learned, what I can do, assessment, and your additional activity, which will be your performance tasks. So, upload your answer sheets in your Google Drive folder. So, ang path natin, Environmental Science, Quarter 3, Module 2. Next, review Module 1 and 2 for summative test number 1, third quarter. Answer the test via Google Forms. Link is to be sent on schedule. So, since we are in ECQ, there is no announcement yet kung kailan ang schedule ng summative test. Chat-chat na lang ako sa ating GC. So, thank you for attending our Environmental Science online class. God bless you all.